the title, Melyssa Ford on why she's childless, while she's a childless cat lady. That's what she called herself, by the way. On her new podcast, she talks a bit about, her life and her past and whatnot. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Melyssa Ford, she was sort of like a video vixen back in the day. That's how I remember her. She's kind of been outside for quite a while. She's kind of, in my opinion, in line with Superhead and a lot of these other women that have come from that era of, video vixen type. I think they've done I don't know if they've done hosting before. I don't think I remember much hosting, but in that type of realm lifestyle back in the day. So now they are older. Melyssa Ford is 48. So she's damn near 50 years old. And one common thing that I see with these women is they get older and then they start giving all these justifications as to why they're single or why they don't have children or why they are not married. And they start to give these, what I call justifications as to why they are in the space that they're in. And usually they try to make it seem like this is the most happiest thing in their lives and this is all they ever wanted. And they never wanted kids and they never wanted marriage. It's like they try to kind of glorify where they are now that they're older and the options are few. This is a common theme. And, shout out to her. Listen, I don't know her personally. This is nothing personal, but it's just my opinion on what I see and what I've seen from a lot of these women who were younger, beautiful women who now have basically hit the wall. And now instead of, a lot of them don't really acknowledge a lot of the things that they've been through and actually be real, in my opinion, about where they are now. They all have the same story. They're justifying what they've been through, and where they are now. Now, she's talking about a time in her life where this guy proposed to her. Now, from what she's saying, he probably was a famous guy. He was probably a guy who was really interested in her back when she was younger and really wanted to take a chance with her and really wanted to try to build a life with her. And this is not something that she wanted. And she out the gate said that she was not faithful to this guy. So this probably was a good dude who was willing to, who saw maybe potential in her and said, you know what, I love this woman. She is what I want and I'm going to take a chance on her. But what we find out in all of the things that we find out in all of this is a lot of times when women say that they've been proposed with, because that's the only thing that they have to fan with at this point, the fact that they were proposed to but never married. And then somehow I think a lot of these women think that it's a flex to say that they were proposed to and they turned it down, which is not a flex. It actually showcases why you're in the position that you're in now. And so I think that's important to point out. And so I think they think that that's a flex, but it's really not. And so she's basically talking about a guy, we don't know who the guy is, who proposed to her. She saw a ring and he was planning on proposing to her, but it didn't actually go down that way. But she actually probably wasn't that interested in him in the first place. She was with him, but not really with him for real. She was cheating on him by her words. She wasn't faithful. So this wasn't somebody you was taking seriously, right? And so what that does, it just shows you the nature of a lot of women. When women are in their prime, when women are young and in their best, in their prime, they are not looking to settle down because they believe and feel that they have options and they want to try to get the best option possible. Now, we're not even talking about kids. We're just talking about relationships and men. So a lot of these women who were very attractive and fit and all of those things in their younger years were out here playing the field. They didn't want to settle down. They didn't want that type of life. They thought that was too lame. That was too boring, right? And so you continue with that on and on and on until now she's damn near 50 years old and doesn't really have much to show for it in terms of family, stability, marriage, and kids, which a lot of women try to dismiss that as not being something to aspire to, that you don't want a family, you don't want to build a relationship with a man. And I just call cap on it. I think a lot of women use that because they haven't obtained it. It's something that they weren't able to get or either missed over opportunities that they could have had. And now they're just basically justifying why they're in this position that they're in and trying to make it seem like it's something they never wanted. But I just call cap on that. I think a lot of women want kids or wanted kids, wanted husbands, wanted families. They just thought that they had time to do it. They thought that they had all the time in the world. They were young and they would find the man of their dreams and it would all just be what they want. And when it didn't happen, of course, you're going to justify it. Most women don't take accountability for their actions and the positions that they're in. So, of course, they're going to make it seem like the best thing ever. And that's what a lot of these women tend to do when they've gotten to this point in life. And honestly, in my opinion, a lot of these women, are claiming they're successful and they have careers, but that's not the only thing that makes you successful, in my opinion. Contrary to what a lot of women may think, you could be successful and still have a family. You could be financially stable with a husband and kids. I don't know what it is when it comes to a lot of Black women. They think you can either have one or the other, that you can't be successful financially with a husband and kids, that the only way to do it is you by yourself. And that's a strange way to think for some reason. I don't know why they think that way, but they think of success in terms of them being financially stable by themselves. But they don't think that, hey, you can be just as equally successful with a husband and kids. I don't understand it for the life of me, but this is how a lot of women think. And I think this is why they end up in these situations. So she talks a lot more about, her past relationships and things of that nature and why, she's in the place that she's in. Basically saying she's at a place, and she said before that she never had the motherly instinct and she never really wanted to be a mother and things of that nature. And okay, even if that's the case, you don't want to be a mother. Did you ever want to be married? And see, my thing is this, I personally, and once again, this is my own opinion. I think a lot of these particular women who have been in these celebrity space, who have been what you would consider, 304s, in my opinion, these women were outside. So they've been involved with a lot of different men. That type of lifestyle would not be conducive to marriage and a family. They're just fake. And of course, a lot of social media is fake. People creating these podcasts to try to reel people in. And people in the comments are just like, oh girl, I need this. And yes, because everybody is full of shit. And everybody want to fake the funk and not be real about it. Because honestly, if you was going to be real, you would just say, yeah, I was slinging that cooch all around when I was young. I thought I had all these options and I just got messed over. And I didn't really get the career that I wanted, but I got something out of it. I got a name for myself and here I am. And they always come out with this fakery kind of message, like it's so great to have been a 304 and become a spinster, because that's what they used to call it back in the day, a spinster. You 48, damn near 50 years old, you're a spinster. You have no kids, you have no husband, never have. And the fact that you've been engaged or proposed to still does not matter. You've never been able to establish a relationship, a solid life with a man, even though you say you had the opportunities. So what does that say about you? And then once again, modern women like to say, well, that's not what I wanted. So you think it's a flex to come out and say that you wanted to be is that a flex? Is that what young women should aspire to be? And 304s with a career? That's the message you want to send to young women looking ahead, that this is what you should do? Play around, throw that cooch to everybody out here that you can, because you're beautiful and they want you sexually. And any man that may want to try to take you seriously, you don't want him. Oh no, throw him to the side, because you don't have time for that. You don't have time to be with a man who actually might want to love you and be with you and build something with, even if he has money, even if he's well established. Because the man that she was referring to, he had money. He wasn't broke. He could take care of her. He could give her a lifestyle that she may have wanted, but that was not good enough. So this is why I say it's a bunch of BS when you hear a lot of these women talking about, I want a man who could take care of me. Y'all have a lot of these women, the attractive ones now. The attractive ones had opportunities to be with a man who would marry them, who would take care of them, the whole nine, but they didn't want that man. Because to be honest, what you want to do is sling that cooch on everybody you can in the name of empowerment, and you was not thinking about settling down. This is really why a lot of women don't want to settle down when they're young, when they're in their prime. It's because they want to be hoes. Let's just keep it honest, y'all. They want to be hoes. You want to be able to explore, because that's the word they like to use. When you get older, now you're tired, you're worn out, hit the wall. Now you want the same kind of guy you may have had an opportunity with years ago. Now you want that guy to double back and take you now? No, and it doesn't happen. So the only way that they can feel good about themselves, in my opinion, is to make it seem like being a when you're young and then getting old, becoming an old cat lady with no kids, no husband, no nothing. But you got a career. You can take care of yourself, as most people have to do in the first place. So it's not a flex to say, oh, I can take care of myself. I make this amount of money. Who cares? Good for you. You can take care of you and your cats. Okay. That ain't nothing to flex. Everybody got to take care of themselves. So you being able to do that is not a flex, in my opinion. I am not convinced that this idea of working to the end is so fulfilling and you just love working and it's all about your career and that's all you have. You work and you go home, you work and you go home to yourself, and you're still out here with random men trying to establish some type of relationship at 50 years old. I'm sorry, I'm not convinced that that's the life.